That's okay. Now, it's your first time doing a ball class.
It is, yes.
So, can I check that you have something grippy on your feet?
I don't, but I can go and grab something really quickly. So,
You want to, but just don't have normal socks, because they will just be
okay.
plain. Rachel, that's good balance. So some cheats for the ball as well. You can put it so it's resting against something. It doesn't have to be in the middle of the room so that, you know, nothing is helping you. You can put it so that the back is against something and it just makes it a bit steadier. You can still go side to side. You can still just about get. You can also put it in a corner. That would be my best corner. It's not quite a corner, but there's something wedged each side. And again, it just gives you a bit more stability. So please don't be afraid to do that. Don't hold back. We can also use a chair instead of the ball. That's always an option. And we can sort of combine the chair and the ball. And we're going to do going forwards on our belly, but I will give lots of different ways of getting into it. And Katie, particularly today, please take it really gentle because it's your first time. And I think everyone in this group has been many times before, but we all started from scratch this time last year and we were all wobbling around and all.
I started worse than from scratch.
We ended up like stuck at one point and had to like help, which was a lesson to me in like checking, okay, we must check this. So I will also say having cushions around you can be a good thing, you know, and knowing the points where you could come off, particularly about hands. I'm more wise now. Right, let's get started.
I've got a nice thick cushion to fall onto, and the dog's decided it's a lovely place to lie.
Might be a little bit of a so I want you to sit on the ball, but not right on top. So when you're sat right on top, you can feel it sort of pressing against your calves and things. I want you to be a little bit forwards because when we go into pelvic tilts, it's just going to make it a little bit softer and a bit easier. When we're right on top, it's a bit harder. So now there's a little bit of a gap between your calves and the ball, and you're slightly forwards. You feel the weight going into your feet. So you can just sit, you can have a little bounce. I know everyone always likes a little bounce to start. When I look at you and everyone's bouncing, it's like, oh. So have a little bounce with all the head finery that's going on as well. I've seen some jingly ears somewhere, New Look or somewhere. I was yesterday looking at all this stuff. And I might have to get the jingly ears just so I can make noises as well. Oh, it takes me back to my music group baby days.
I'm going to get mine now, mind you.
Jingling all the way. Now let everything settle. Your legs are definitely wider. We're not moving the feet yet. I'm just going back a little bit so you can see my feet. I want your hands low belly. And just rest your hands there, rest your arms at the side, and sort of like you're cupping or cuddling your belly. Now, when you breathe in, I want you to send your breath to your hands. And when you breathe out, it's like you're fogging up a mirror. So like a... And as you do that, feel your lower belly here. Just pull away from your hands like you've got a really cold belly. And then just have a little wiggle. Let your belly go and just remind it can let go. Because when we do that, things tighten here. Your transverse abdominis, your corset muscles all start to activate, and your pelvic floor is activating too. And we want it all to relax afterwards. So just having a little wiggle after, important. So hands back again. You're right in the hip crease there. Oh, go on. We'll let her in. It's Hannah. We'll let her in. Belly again. Take that breath into your belly so it's going a little lower and out to the sides. That's it. Feel your belly fill, and then that, like you're trying to see your breath on a cold day. Hi, Hannah. I'm sorry, we're heavy breathing all over you. Nice to see you. Hannah, anything any different? I don't think she can hear me.
Yeah, I can just hear you. I'm competing with Christmas music outside.
Oh, okay. We've got Helen coming in as well. We're just doing a little bit of frosty breath work just to get us started. And we're sat slightly forwards on the ball. And we've definitely got something on our feet that mean that our feet just don't slip all the time. So it's grippy socks or bare feet or trainers. Well, let's get Helen in. Hi, Helen.
Hi, I'm on a chair, not a ball today. The cat destroyed the ball. She used
Okay.
it as a launch pad. I've got another one ordered.
Turn your flashing lights so they don't flash.
Oh, sorry, yes, of course.
I love the colour, but I just can't do the flashing.
Yeah, no, sorry.
No worries. We're going for hands on the belly in the hip crease. We're breathing into our hands, letting them fill. And now as you breathe out, it's like you're trying to see your breath on a cold day. And feel your belly pull back. And then have a little wriggle. And we're going to go one more like that. Breathe into your hands. Feel that sort of filling underneath. And now that cold breath. You can do 1 or 2 or 3. And then let it go. And just have a little wiggle side to side. You're just having a little warm up, have a little bounce. Your legs are wide, your feet are flat on the floor. And now you can place your hands back there. Breathe into that area again. And now as you breathe out cold air again, I want you to bring your pubic bone towards your nose. And you'll feel your back round, especially if you're sat a little bit forward on this ball. Now I want you to send your bum backwards and you'll feel your back arch. If it's too much, please don't do it as much. So you're going between those two places and we've got our hands sort of down on this low belly place and you're just going backwards and forwards. I show you from the sides. 4. And now put your hands on the ball and bring yourself right on top of it. So it's a bit more balancy now. Before it's almost like you're on a beanbag or a chair, but now you're right on top. It's a little bit more wobbly. Your legs are definitely wide. Your hands are going to be on the ball. Have a little bounce again. And then rest and grow tall. Pull your ribs at the front towards the back a little bit. Just feel them travel back slightly. Now we're going to go for a little sneaky hip hitch one way and the other, and rest your hands on your legs or the ball and just sort of try and leave your shoulders and body where it is and just have those hips go or one way or the other. Try and get your head right in the center. If you can see yourself, just look at yourself, really whole cold stare in the face. Just you stay there, you stay there. That's it. And now we're going to go in circles. Now you can go in circles without moving your legs. A bit harder. So just going in circles sort of on top of the ball. And then same direction. Now let your legs have a little move and let the ball move and make. That's it. And then pause for a moment, have a little bounce. Now we're going to circle the other way. And this time keep the legs as still as you can. And it's a much smaller, sort of tighter circle. That's it. Now make it bigger and your legs are allowed to move and push that ball around. So imagine you're drawing a circle on the floor with your ball. Come back to the center. Legs definitely wide, quite a big gap between your legs, feet down. We want to be nice and stable. Now, if you're confident on the ball, and you've done this a few times, you might have hands on your chest. If it's your first time, start with the ball, hands on your ball. Yeah. Just going to have a little rotate round. That's it. I know we've got a lot to deal with today. All the headwear makes it a little bit hard. And check that your front ribs are just pulling back a little. And then you might try one hand, you might try the other hand, you might try both hands. If it feels wobbly, leave the ball, leave your hands on the ball. That's it. Come back to the center, give your shoulders a little roll. So keeping your arms down somewhere, they can be down on the sides of the ball, they could be down in the middle, resting on your legs. I always doubt myself as a teacher when I say arms instead of legs, or legs instead of arms. I do know the difference, I promise. That's it. And now we're going to go for some side stretching. So you can either have your hands here and your elbows down, if that's more comfortable, or you're just touching your head. I don't like cradling the head, I must say, but if you're a fan of it, I find it tends to push my shoulders and back and all sorts. So just touching your head might be nicer if it feels like it's pushing anything forwards. And now we're going to take elbow up, leave your bum exactly where it is, don't let that ball move, and then come to the center. And then take the other elbow up, or just feeling that gap between your elbow and your body just get a bit bigger, and then come back to the center. And all this on the ball is staying the same. Oh, you're trying not to wobble from side to side. You're trying not to let the weight go and sort of have a little wiggle, keeping it super still. Start pressing into your feet, press down. Gorgeous. That's it, one more each side. And then take the arms down, give it a little shake out. Right, I'm going to give you two options. Either hands on the thighs, legs are still wide, or hands on the ball. This will make it a little easier. So what we're going to start do is one foot, starting to lift one heel. And then that same foot, I want you to push down into the other leg first. Now you can see my hands have already gone to the ball. I know what's coming. I'm going to try and lift that foot up a little off the floor. If you just have the ball, it's going to make it a little easier. And you're going to want to go wonky. We're trying not to. We're just trying to be as upright as we can, so grow even taller. And you can even get your fists and push into the ball. It makes it quite a bit easier. But it depends on your hands and whether they're comfortable doing that. You could press your palms in, but it's quite strong on the palms. But you're just trying to lift that leg. It's not like a pretty fairy move. It's quite a heavy footsteppy, like boots in the snow type move. And then rest that down. Have a little wiggle or a bounce or a circle, anything just to ease off. Perfect. Right, same on the other side. So just start peeling the heel up. That's normally fine. That one's okay. Start to press the other foot down. We're just going to go back a little bit. And it's time to lift this foot. Think about lifting the thigh rather than the foot. Like it's on a string. And now you can either, maybe you've got hands on your thighs, maybe this side you're thinking, I've got it a bit now. Or maybe you think, no, I need to press into the ball. And you could even try your legs just a little closer together. So they're facing forwards, and you can try and do some footsteps. And we can make it quite prancy. You could bring out your inner sort of reindeer prancing and leave your feet nice and long. I can't say my prancing is great. I can see myself going from side to side. But I'm trying to center the energy. And then rest your feet down. Push down into them. Almost feel yourself go up a little. And let's have our arms just go up and down without our ribs going up and down. As wide or as narrow as is comfortable. But that little pressure down with your feet, like you're just teetering on the edge of quite a tall chair. That's it. And you might even be on a chair, and you might be on the edge of it. And then a little backstroke too. That's it. Just giving those shoulders a bit more mobilization. And then take it down. And your legs a little wider. and in fact, really quite wide. And I want you to roll backwards. If you're on the chair, I want you to imagine you're in a rocking chair. Roll backwards until you're on your heels and let your toes go up. You might find that you come forwards a bit with your body, it's fine. And then go forwards and your heels go up. I'm just going to move myself backwards a little bit because it goes out of shot. So that's me coming forwards and going backwards. Now, as you come forwards, just watch the front of your ankles, because it can sort of almost hyperextend. The weight could really push forwards. You can sort of teeter over your toes. Don't need to go that far. Just lifting your heels a little and then pushing back and lifting your toes up. That's it. Now try and be a little more upright so you don't get that torso going forwards, but your feet are getting all the movement. Come back to the center. Now do one side, you're going to move diagonally. That's it. And you get that same heel toe change, but you go in this sort of diagonal. If you're doing this on a chair, you can really lengthen the leg in front of you if you like. And then swap to the other leg. Oh. That's it. Now, if you want a little more challenge for your arms, you could bring them inwards somewhere. Just bringing them into your chest makes everything a little harder because they're not helping you balance so much. If you need them on your legs or your ball, leave it there. That's it. And then we're going to rest the legs for a moment. I'm just going to adjust and get right back on my ball because I felt like I was coming off it. Now something for the arms. So legs however you want them. We'll take an arm forwards. It's like you're going to shake hands with somebody, but reach forwards to shake hands. Just reach from your shoulder. Now I want you to pull back from your back, from your shoulder blades. Reach forwards. Pull back. Reach forwards. Pull back. Bring it down. Just have a little wiggle and a little shimmy and take the ball side to side. Other side. Reach forwards. Keep your body exactly where it is now and just reach that hand and arm forwards. Now pull it back from your shoulder blade, trying to squeeze it back. Let it go forwards. Give the fingers a little wiggle. Give me a thumbs up, whichever you prefer. That's it. And then the fingers wiggling has it. And then pull it back. And then go in again. That's it. And pull back. I think one more. Lovely. And take it down. Have a little wiggle. Right, what have I got next? Oh yeah, a little bounce on the ball. So bouncing. Now, if you're seated, I want you to push down and feel yourself just go up a little. You're not going to get the bounce, but just that little up feel and down, up and down, up and down. Otherwise, have a little bounce. And then we're going to hinge a little forwards. Hands are definitely on your thighs. It's like you're going to stand, but you're not going to. So in a chair, it's like doing a sit to stand, but you're not going to actually stand. You're just thinking, oh, I might. Oh, no, I'm not going to. That's it. And if you're on the floor, you could do some butterfly legs, a little out and in if you want to. That's it. Now, the further forwards you go, the more your bum and your hamstrings are going to work, bringing you up, right? So if I show you from the side, you can keep it so you know you're not standing. You're just putting that pressure downwards. But if you want to try going a little higher, just watch the ball because it's got a tendency to go off. You don't want to then sit down on the floor without your ball. So just having a little finger near and thinking, oh yeah, I know where it is. Sit and then sit down on it again. Have a little bounce, have a little wiggle. Right, next we're going to do holding the ball and bringing our legs a little forwards. There's still a big gap. It's bigger than 2 fists. And just like we do on a chair, so if you're on a chair, you could do 2 fists for this one. We want just a little bit wider on the ball to give us a bit more stability. Slide one leg and make it longer. That foot, mine's staying on the ground at the moment, and slide it back. And just go for a few times. If you're on a chair, you've got more hard resistance underneath you, you may be able to get your leg up like that. If we're on the ball, we're working towards it. And this is where you might want your ball wedged between something just to make it a little more stable. Now, one thing you can do is press into this other leg more. Push down and see if you can then lift that foot, lift that leg. If you're still on the sliding, stay on the sliding. That's it. And then give that leg a little rest, a little wobble. You might want to rub on the thigh. And we're going to go for the other side, sliding forwards. Now, I'm pushing a little bit into the ball to give me a little bit of a hand, but you can keep your hands on your legs if you like. I'm wanting a bit of assistance today. Push the other foot down and see if that helps. You might feel like it's almost making the ball tip. So there's a lot of stabilizing going on. That's it. Well done. And take it down, and just again a little bounce, a little circle, just something nice. Like the hands going there, bit of maracas. And then we're going to go back to that hip hinge, like we're trying to stand, but this time we're going to stand. So maybe give yourself 3, 4, 5 goes and bring yourself up to standing, or you could take yourself to a chair. So if you're not standing today, I'd like you sat in a chair with room for your ball in front, and you're going to start passing your ball around you from one side to the other, from one side to the other. If you are standing, we've got our fingers on the ball. We're going to send our bums back. First, pass it round one side, use both hands, and then bring it back to the centre and pass it round the other side. I'm trying not to move my feet, but there's barely enough room to get this ball around. And some of you may have the same issue. So you're going with whatever you can do in this space. We're just trying to stick our bums backwards and hinge a little bit. Flat back if you can. And you might even see if you can pass it all around yourself. Now, if you're in a chair, impossible because the chair's in the way. Helen, have you got your squishy ball with you? Your yeah, use that. Just pass that right around yourself.
I was just thinking that.
That's it. And then just different ways in which you can do it. Oh, so you might do it standing up a bit more and just sort of wiggling around it and moving around it. Yeah, it's improvised, this one. And then you might take it the other way. Well done. We're nearly finished. And then bring that ball back and just take a moment. Right, now the next place we're going to go is going to be onto the ball. Let me show you before you get there. So you might go onto your knees if your knees are okay for that, and then put your belly against it. And my back is sliding down towards my bum rather than this way. You can imagine what's going to happen if I go that way. So that might be good for you. If your knees are thinking, no, they want to be off the floor, instead, you might be better taking your legs wide and going onto your ball. And then I'm going to put my feet so that they're going to rest against this chest of drawers. And then my knees aren't going downwards. And my back has still got that little slope on it. If you're in a chair, you could have the ball forwards and between your legs, and you can lean into it, just putting your hands on it. And if you are in a chair without the ball, you can either sit forwards like this, and we can work the arms like this because we're going to be doing things with our arms, or you could go into all fours on your mat if you're comfortable too. Anybody else need any other options for this? This is the bit where you may need cushions to the side. Right. Oh. I'm I'm going to stay on my knees, I think. Where we're going on this next. Yeah, so we're going to play with a little sort of plank sort of sensation. So taking your hands away from the floor. And different options. If your feet are against the chest of drawers or a wall or something, you're already in a plank, and you might soften your legs and straighten them. Soften and straighten them. If your knees are on the floor, you can push into your toes and just hover your knees up and take them down. Tiny off the floor. Tiny. It's a supported plank. If you're doing this from the chair, push your hands forward. Pull your belly and your ribs back a little bit and then take it down. Push forwards, and your hands could be quite low or can be straight ahead, but like they're on the floor. And then let it go, take it down. And now if your hands want to reach down towards the floor, they can do, or down the sides of the ball and just flop, and let your head have a flop. Or if you're seated, you might have a neck roll. You might want to put your head to one side on the ball and just sort of cuddle it. You could also give yourself a hug if you're seated. And if you're on your ball with it against your belly, take your legs wider, because it'll let you go a little bit side to side. Some of you already found it. And it will give you more stability. So whether your knees are on the floor and you're just tipping slightly from side to side, or your feet are supporting you, but just give yourself a bit more stability. Now take it so that your eyes are looking downwards a little. So they're down towards the floor if you're on the ball. Otherwise, they're looking ahead if you're seated. I want you to start lifting your chest, just like you're trying to lift it slightly away from the ball, and the back of your head feels like it's going back, and the back of your neck, and then let it go down. Lifting it slightly off the ball and let it go down. If you are seated with a ball, we could do the same thing. So you're like cuddling your ball and you're lifting your head away and then taking it down, and your arms are doing some of the work here. If you're seated upright, not on the ball, put your hands on your chest and just push your chest into your hands. I was going to say the ball then. Into your hands, a little upwards, and then relax. A little upwards, and then relax. That's it. And anytime you want to stop, stop and have a little break and just flop over the ball. Now we're going to try and hold it. So we're going to try a little bit of back extension. And your arm is helping you on the ball. So you might have your elbows digging in, or you might have your hands further down, but some ways helping you. I want you to move one arm forwards. So everyone one arm ahead in some way. That's it. And then take that arm back. And then the other arm forwards. And you're just trying to keep your head and chest where they are as you alternate arms forwards. That's it. Gorgeous. That's it. Perfect. And then going to take one arm out to the side, like you're sort of half a T shape. Bring it back. And then the other one out to the side. Still trying to keep your head and chest up. But any time that you want to just flop and let it go and have a little, you can do. That's it. Flying Santas. Perfect. And then if you want to try something with both arms, you can. You don't have to. So if you're already there. So both arms out flying. I particularly like that one. Or both arms forward, sort of Superman Santa.
We're walking in the air.
If you're seated, it's more arms ahead than arms high. And then his arms out in a T. Oh, Lovely, and good head positions going on as well, and excellent antler work. And now I want you to take it to something softer. So you might just flop onto the ball, take the strain out, you might come back to the ball. Let me just flip the plan over. Oh, the next place we're going to be is lying down. So lying on your backs, hugging the ball in. You could also be seated if you want to be seated.
I like.
Under your head. Whichever position you prefer. We're going to do a little bit of breath work, and you can do this seated, you can do it lying down, both will work. Oh, just going to keep the ball from rolling away. So your legs right on top of the ball, and you're just flopping your legs on the ball to keep them still, and keep your ball still. So you're hugging it in really quite close. Your arms can be down in a T-ish sort of shape, or down by your sides, or you can have your hands on your belly. And if you're seated, you could have your hands on your belly, your arms just resting on your thighs. We're going to breathe in through our nose and spread your back out on the floor as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, it's that cold air again. And your belly just pulling back. No pelvic tilt or anything, just feeling a bit of activation in the belly. Breathing in when you're ready, do it in your own time. Breathing out that cold air. One more like that. And then we're going to make it a bit softer. So it's not a cold air, it's just breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And then let your head roll one way. Roll back to the center and roll the other way. So if you're seated, it's a gentle turn. If you're lying down, you're really letting it roll. That's it. And then come back to the center. Breath just like before, in and out through your nose. And as you breathe out, I want you to hug the ball closer to your bum and your thighs. And as you breathe in, just let it go very gently away. It's not like stretching your legs, it just releases. And as you breathe out, hug it towards you.
Get away.
Now, if you're doing this seated, you could do a little heel raise. And then lowering down. And that will give you the same effect, just the thighs and the knees come closer to you. It's quite rhythmic. That's it, lovely. Now, if you've got a little ball, could you now place it underneath your feet? And if you've got a big ball, could you start to push the ball further away from you so your heels are on the ball, your legs are nearly straight, and your toes are outward. So you've got like a V feet. That's it. Gorgeous. If you get hyperextension in your knees, we're going to keep our knees soft, a bit spongy bent at the knees. So this time, breathing out, pull the ball towards you, digging your heels in a little, as much as you can. So your knees might come quite close. And as you breathe out, push the heels down and push the ball away. That's it. In and out. Oh, and you might have to adjust your heels if they slip around a bit. But a little bit of pressure into the ball, whether the ball is big or whether it's small. If it's small, it's going to be a much stronger abdominal sensation, so you might not want to straighten your legs very much. Just because your legs are lower down, they're going to be heavier. And one or two more like this. And then have your legs, so they're about 90 degrees, and straighten the feet up. So they're right next to each other. And your toes are together, they're not V feet anymore. And then take the legs a little wider. One leg's going to float off. So one leg's just at 90 degrees, floating the foot off the ball, and the other leg is going to push the ball away. You can adjust your foot position. Oh, I think I nearly lost my ball. Push into the ball a little and bring it back, and just keep this other leg at 90 degrees. That's quite a tricky one. You want your toes towards your nose a little bit. It'll give your heel a bit more pressure. That's it. And then we're going to swap around. So both feet on the ball. I'm trying to pull my socks up because they're coming off. One foot pressing into the ball, the other leg floating off, and now extend away and bring back. That's it. If you want something else, you can bring your arms so your palms are together, press them together, and just push those fingers like you're praying up towards the sky, wishing for amazing presents for Christmas, something like that. Wishing for peace and quiet, wishing for just peace.
Yeah. Deep look.
Perfect. And then bring that ball back and rest either your feet on it or your heels on it, just so you feel that your legs are a bit more relaxed. And here we're just going to do a little pelvic tilt. Really little. Now I'm going to give you options for this one. If you have a little ball, I would take your feet down to the floor and put the ball between your ankles. If you're on a big ball, you can keep with the pelvic tilts. You could also do some butterfly legs, just in and out, because this is our finishing sort of move. Or if you fancy a little bridge, have your legs at 90, so they're a little bit bent. Arms down by your sides, maybe a little wider, and just curl up a little higher and then lower down. You might want your arms this sort of wider width just to help support you. It's quite wobbly. That's it. So a little pelvic tilt and then just lifting the hips up and taking them down. I find it helps if your toes are coming towards you, just because you can really dig your heels in. That's it. Gorgeous. And then to finish, we'll lower down. Bring that ball back close to you, or have your legs wider with your feet on the floor if you've got a little ball. Take your arms out to the side somewhere and just let your legs sway one way and sway the other way. That's it. So you're either rolling onto the sides of your feet or you're using the ball just to tip you. Your shoulders are staying where they are. Your head can turn the opposite way if you want to, or it can stay exactly where it is. And then come back to the center. Take your arms down by your sides and just give your shoulders a little shrug up and down. And then give yourself a gentle hug. We're not going super tight, but just a little, so your legs are still, but your upper body's just having a little side to side wriggle. You're trying to lift one shoulder up and then the other. That's it. And then we're going to take our feet off the ball. So they're back on terra firma. Right, we just want a moment there. We're going to roll onto our sides and come onto a seated position on the ground. Your shoulders a little roll. Take your palms out to the side. Scoop up the air. Bring your hands together. Bring a bit of peace and goodwill into your heart. We're all ready for the next few weeks. Well done, everybody. Hope you're all okay. No one fell off, so there's always a win in this class.